beginning kernel, then we'll go, then we'll go to first year round. So the way it'll work is each candidate will give a 3-minute talk of the statement, and then we'll go through all candidates. And then we'll have a question period for each candidate. And we'll go through the same thing for all positions. And we'll be using a random number generator to figure out what the ordering will be for the candidates. And just keep in mind for all the candidates, we do have policy in place for if you're on council, you must affirm to being equitable, diversity, and inclusive. And so just please keep that in mind while giving your little speeches and answering questions.
Just so everyone else knows, we're recording this on Zoom. So any questions that you do ask will be recorded live. This is just for viewing purposes later if people aren't able to attend. I'm also going to set up Discord really quickly. So if anyone's asking why we're not live on Discord, you can answer them that.
Oh yeah, just keep in mind like not being equitable, keeping in mind inclusive as grounds for disqualification from the election. Just so you all know, again, that's. All right, so we'll start with the VPI first. Just 1 second, computer. All right, so can I have all the VPI candidates on stage, please? One of the people not show up. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, so what?
We're missing one.
Yeah, I guess there's only 2. Okay, so I'll generate your number and we'll decide which position you go in. All right, so you got 2, so you get to go first. Yeah. All right, so please feel free to give your 3-minute speech, just like stand right here. So you're in the Zoom meeting as well. And yeah, go ahead and give your 3-minute spiel. Sorry, a question? Yeah, there's 3 candidates, I guess the third one side of the knowledge you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any dietary?
Oh, sorry, just before, yeah, continue. Is there any dietary restrictions for pizza? Well, no vegetarians. Gluten-free, all right. Any vegans or any other restrictions? All right, let's get started with the debate now. So, yeah, you guys silence please, and please give your 3-minute statement.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Mahepuri, and I stand before you today to a candidate for VP internal. So, I am an international student, and I'm a first-year engineering student. So, picture this: a vibrant community where every voice is heard, where every idea is shared, or where someone laughs at your stupidities. Sounds funny, yeah, I know. So I want to be a bridge between the engineering community and the students. And I make sure that this bridge won't be made out of spaghetti or something. I won't fall easily. So one of my key initiatives will be launching the collaborations themed events. Imagine this: a Shark Tank night or a failure fest. Don't worry, it won't be another boring engineering lecture, but this would be fun. Maybe laughing at someone's ideas or making jokes of someone's terrible circuits. Because after all, we all are engineers and we do fail at some point of time. So this failure fest or something, it would be a really good idea, or it's a really good idea and initiative which I think I can introduce, and you can all be a part of this. So now let's talk about communication. I think to have an open forum system. I know you all know about EAs and everything, but personally what I feel right now while attending tutorials, I sometimes feel it's formal, or maybe I cannot open myself properly. I'm thinking for a buddy mentorship program where I match with seniors, 2nd year, 3rd year. Like what I did with my Indian seniors, I matched them, and it was a great help before coming to Canada from India. So as your VP internal, I promise not to be just your voice, but to empower you and to stand for you. And I think I'll get cookies for you, everyone in the meetings. And I think you can't resist cookies, man. No one can. So in closing, I'm here not just to represent you, but empower you. And I'm just ending it. I know it's not a boring physics lecture again, so I'll just close it soon. So I think let's build this community together, and who knows, maybe we'll build it out of cookies or something. So thank you for your time, and I am your candidate for VP internal. And yeah, thank you. Let's make this journey unforgettable.
I don't think you're here. We'll give the floor to Sam now. I know, please stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine, do you have everything?
Yep, you're good. And good stuff.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Sam Wilson. I'm a fourth year mechanical engineering student here. More like fifth or sixth, depending on how you count it. But I'm really passionate about improving, the student life here. I know our programs for our department can be challenging. There's expectations to take a lot of courses. And I'm hoping to use my experience I've had throughout, my years here to help improve the life for the students and for the staff. I know a lot of the staff in both the mechanical engineering, software, biomedical, computer science, even math and physics departments. And I feel like I have a bit of respect for how I both communicate with them and how they communicate with me. So I would love to essentially improve the transparency of expectations for students, what they're expected to do, try to navigate that maze of the website we have to figure out what it is we need to do. So an example of something I didn't know until about my third year, but that there's a list of approved course substitutions, for example, that you can take instead of the courses you're supposed to take. And they're often easier and they're often in the department. So like, for example, chemistry 250, you can take 101 instead. So yeah, I have a lot of experience with the ECSS, talking to other students, talking to professors outside of the classroom. And I would use that experience to improve the rooms. One thing I would like to do if I get elected to vice president internal is set up office hours. So all of you guys, girls, not binary, can come and talk to me about what you think we need to improve. What we can both improve for the staff and for the students. And yeah, basically, I only have my own experience in the mechanical department, as part of my degree. So I'd love to learn more about all the other departments and computer science, so I can better help you guys do whatever it is we feel we need to improve. So yeah, I'm Sam Wilson. Please vote for me for being VP internal, and thank you for your time listening to what I have to say.
We'll have both candidates on stage. And it's time for a question period. Just so you know, since here went first, Sam will be answering the first question, and the zero answer, and then we'll keep on going back and forth. So do I have any questions from the floor? And you'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question.
Okay.
Any questions? Sarah?
Concerns?
Do you have any plans on how you want to work with the distance program?
Yeah, that's an awesome question.
So Sam will go first.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot to touch upon that for my speech. So I know in the past it's been kind of difficult to communicate with some reps. And I would love to essentially host, we'll have to talk about the frequency because I know we're all busy, but maybe bi-weekly meetings so that each of the representatives feel that what they're gaining from the meetings with the faculty actually goes to something. It's not just going to boring meetings and not actually being able to make a change from that information. I want to improve the communication transparency. And I think that would be, a good way of doing that is having frequent meetings where both the representatives and the general student body come and talk to us about what they've learned and what they want to, how they want to improve basically student life or the staff, the life of the staff as well. That's important. I think that I'm good.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so for the point of communication, yeah, I think that this point is a very good question that you raised. Communication, this is, important in any aspect, be it your relationship or something, but I think that's informal here. So I'll say at this point of time, what I said in my speech also, that I was thinking of some open forum debate, or not open forum debate, but an open forum communication system, which is basically somewhat an anonymous type, because I'm sure, like, since I'm a first year student, so sometimes I also feel weird to go out to my seniors and talk. That's because, like, I'm not shy, I'm here standing in front of you, where English was not even my first language in my country. So, sometimes it's like you can't open yourself properly, so I'm thinking to go something anonymous sort of thing, that if you have doubts, you can, like, the person can adhere to it. And second thing, what I mentioned in my speech was the mentorship program with the seniors, like year senior we have here, 4 years, so maybe is it your second year, third year, or fourth year? So I'm thinking is to pair people with them, like not one-on-one pair, because we don't have so many seniors, but I don't know, right now it means for now, but yeah, I'll diverse this community and I'll surely work on this. Thanks.
Awesome.
Are we allowed to talk more about that or?
No,
Okay.
you have one response to each question.
Gotcha.
Any other questions from the floor? Any other questions, Sarah?
Yeah, so, a previous initiative that was started by Fox EPI, was to run an event for the teaching award. We run a teaching award where we recognize a professor or teacher here. There's an event that brought like different profs and students together. Is it something that you'd be interested in?
Yeah, but it is.
So for the teacher award, right?
Yeah, like the teaching award and the event, sort of like it's for profs and students to like network and get to know each other.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so that makes sense, like, so I started my classes in 2 weeks back only, so I don't have, I'm going for personal right now. So I don't have any specific favorite professor right now, but I love, not exactly love, don't take it that way. But yeah, I like that professor, my physics professor, Professor Travis Martin. I like him a lot personally because he's very conceptual. What I like about him is, sometimes I saw great high professors and everything before coming here, and I was like, okay, this guy got a 3.7 star or something. He might be scary or something, but when I attended my first lecture, I was like, yeah, he's a good guy, he's a good guy. So, for the question you said, I think that makes sense that we should have this professor, like, you give an award to a professor, that's nice, you'll get, because professors have this networks and connections apart in their industry, which I think as a first year, me being a first year, it's very important for me to connect with the people in the relevant industries to like get information what exactly I will do in future. It's not like I'm declaring a software and I'm doing something with automobiles or something. So I think, yeah, we can work on that thing. I mean, I just need time for that thing. I'll explore things myself. Like, I'll also find stuff on the campus and I'll make it available for you.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, I would love to host an event like that. I think it's in association with the BB student life. On that. Yeah, I think celebrating the staff is an important thing because the staff can sometimes feel like the students are not their friends. And I think the best way to communicate with the staff and actually have them cooperate with our needs and have us cooperate with their needs is to both get along and invite them to events like that. Yeah, I think that'd be a lovely event to have and invite not just the teachers who get the awards, but also just a general invite to engineering present profs who are interested in it and other students who would like to join within the faculty. I think we need to strengthen our relationships with some of our profs, even if we don't always see eye to eye. A lot of profs, I think, do respect me. Some others that I've stood up to when they don't do what they say they will, maybe not so much, but I think that's also an important part of communication is making sure you promote the values of the students and not just let the student whatever they want. So yeah, in short, I think that'd be a lovely idea and invite basically the entire departments if possible and all the student body who's interested in coming.
Awesome, thank you. Do we have any other questions for VP internal? Yep.
Will you like advocate to take lead on coordination? Engineering?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Will you advocate on coordination for on the capital coordination?
Laid off probation?
Laid off.
Laid off, certainly. Oh, I see, okay. That's an interesting question. I'm not sure how much influence I'll have in that realm. Like, I would love to talk to them about it. I think I think that Laidlaw in the past has not responded to student needs in a way that was fair, or followed his own like agreements of what he would do, like, following his end of the deal. So I think it's appropriate, like, for the VP internal and the student body to raise those concerns to the department and say, like, this specifically, here's a list of the things we agreed upon, here's the things he said he would do, he didn't do. Ideally, it would be in a way that Laidlaw is comfortable and we're comfortable. I don't want to start fights. But the students are my first priority, so if it comes down to it, then, that is my first priority. Go ahead.
Well, so you got a good question, but I really don't think I can say much on that because I don't want to get kicked out of the course or maybe fail this semester. Because he's the course coordinator for our course. So, but yeah, that point is really valid. I have listened to reviews from my seniors. I have listened to maybe the reviews and, talks from some of my batchmates about how the system for this physics thing works. So, yeah, I'll take your concerns. I'll take your concerns. I'll work with other, like, maybe like work with the body, to find a middle way that is both okay for Professor Laidlaw and for us, for the community. I'll try my best to do that. Yeah, but keeping in mind in this thing that I don't get kicked out. Sorry. Thanks.
Awesome. Any other questions for VPI candidates? Yeah.
Other than like, I don't know. That's really not. I know that we talked about like how you got advice from many. Would it be possible that you can make these resources to, help pass other students in Professor Layden's class available to everyone?
Yeah, so like you told about, I talked to my seniors and about the resources from Laidlaw, that was because like before every of my physics class, I watched Dr. Laidlaw's video lectures that gets posted online. So yeah, the thing that you said that I need to, get the resources passed from Laidlaw to the general students, right?
Yeah.
So what you mean? Yeah, so I'll surely work on that. Like I'll take your concerns, I'll find a middle way with Professor Laidlaw and on what we can come to a middle agreement or something. And then I would surely make sure that your voice is heard to him and his response is heard to you. And making sure no one sentiments or no one feelings or something like that thing is heard. Like every opinion is respected. That's what I said in the starting line of my speech. That I want to create a platform where every voice is heard and every opinion is shared. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think we do have some systems in place, but they're kind of informal and maybe inadequate for sharing resources. I know one program we do have that I recommend you guys all check out is the peer support system, if you haven't heard of it. So it was started up a couple of years ago, and it connects generally upper year students with first and second year students. That's already up and running. They do events there. I think recently posted their Instagram now, so that's good. So yeah, working with someone like them is already a service available. That's great, but that's more of just general advice from student to students rather than like specifically for a course. I mean, you can talk about whatever course you want. But I think sharing the information that upper year level students have learned throughout their degree is really important. So like I was saying, with transparency, there are approved alternate courses, and one of them is for physics 110 and 111. You don't have to take those for your degree. And I didn't learn that until I finished the 2 courses. You can also challenge courses. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. It depends on the course, but you can challenge it if you already have experience like in high school, and you can skip a course. So like that's an example of transparency that it is on the website, but it's hard to find. I didn't know about it. It said until I had to drop a course and replace it with one of the alternatives. I don't know if I'm supposed to work on that. But yeah, essentially creating also a resource sharing system between students for specific classes would be amazing, like on top of what we already have. That would be fantastic. I would love to work on that with other students. Work on that with IT and whatnot, whoever throws to help with that. Yeah, setting up a more robust system that's based on both class and instructor.
Awesome, thank you. Do we have any other questions for VP internal? Yes,
Where would you build this platform?
sorry, the questions that are asked must be asked of both candidates, so.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
where would you guys build this platform? That would be connected with the students.
I forgot order. who's first?
You'll be going
Okay,
first.
first, okay, cool. Yeah, so, we used to have a physical filing cabinet in the office. You'd run it, you'd walk in to, look at it. Now it's been digitized, so we have a digital version of that. I think the best source would be a digital forum of sorts where we organize it by, department and then the class code and by professor. And then students can add, before and after they finish a course, like both reviews of it, hints of it, and all the like materials that we're allowed to share, because some materials we're not allowed to. We can't just share 5.1 cents. But all materials we're allowed to share, all the hints you're allowed to share, I think we would systematically locate those in a digital system so that it's easy to look up. There are third-party stuff like Prof. Those I think are a great resource, but they're not UVic specific. And a lot of them have information about cross from past universities and whatnot. Yeah, so I would have to talk with the rest of the IT and whatnot to figure out logistically how they do it. But a digital source you can access when you're on campus would be ideal.
Okay, so for this thing, yeah, so first day when I came to university in here, what I did was like the things he mentioned, not exactly targeting those things, but I had some resources which I made into my PDF file and I had like 15-20 resources, which made actually my life easier or something. Not the ChatGPT stuff. I'm not encouraging that, but which is at least legal as in this sense that it does not violate UVic's integrity issues. We have been taught this every day in the class that you can be kicked out of the university if you use this stuff, but that's not what. And also back in India, I learned web development and like the courses for web development. So I know how to design sites and all that. But I think that maybe like once I am done with once I get settled into this university system, I'll myself build or spend time working on this site or making a dynamic thing which has all the resources clubbed from different like seniors, what I know. Like I have my seniors who are like the Indian seniors who are in 4th year, one who has landed job recently in Tesla as a software engineer. So maybe get the information from them, get the resources from them, how they transition their life from high school to university, what all resources they use, which does not again violates the UX integrity policies. So I'll make sure that is available and that is transparent.
Any other questions for VP internal? All right, seeing none, we're down to the VP out of so thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's consider VP equity candidates, please.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we'll generate number for you,
I appreciate it.
and you got one.
Okay.
Yeah, and, yeah, just a reminder for everyone, please keep EDI in mind, keep things equitable, keep in mind diversity and make this inclusive, please. Yeah, let's get started. So, Sophie, please come to the stage and give your 3 minutes, statement.
You're gonna let us talk about it.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
give you a minute.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Sophie. I'm a second-year civil engineering student, and I'm running for VP Equity. So I think I made a great VP Equity because of my experience with the ECSS. I first started back in last September, my first month being a first-year student in the first-year council. And then over the summer, I've been the secretary of the council, the actual ECSS council, and then director of outreach. And this is significant because the VP Equity is above the director of outreach. They support them and they work on outreach ideas together. And I really want to improve the way that those connections are made. And yeah, I think I'm really well suited because I understand the challenge of this role. It's not a well-defined role at all. And I did something similar with director of outreach where I took initiative. I did some high school outreach, which is difficult during the summer. And I also did some mentorship. And I really want to make this a well-defined role that can really grow over time and it's establish foundations that we can continue working on. In terms of like inclusivity, especially, that's something that's been brought up to me recently. Part of my platform is working on revamping the lounge and also just the overall image of the ECSS I want to make sure it's a really inclusive, safe space for people. Because the thing is, it's, especially for first year students, new students, it's really difficult to imagine yourself in a space where you do not see people who are similar to yourself or people who, like, people you have in common with. And so we need to make a space that is inviting for everybody. Otherwise, we're never going to have proper representation of the students in ECS. And yeah, also with the EDI committee, I know the head of the EDI committee, so that's already a good start. I'm really excited to see what they have in mind and see how I can work with them. I really want to make it more public so we can actually have people bringing their concerns to the EDI committee. Student concerns is the backbone of what I want to work on. I really want to listen to you guys and not assume like what you guys need, because, sorry, okay. Because the thing is, we have a lot of supports at UVic, and maybe not everybody understands the purpose for those supports, but just because you don't understand why support is in place does not mean that other people don't need it. So we really need to just get out there and make it easier for people to bring the supports that they need to see. And that's about it, but yeah, I want to make it a more inviting environment and also promote diversity as well with the directors of outreach. I met them, they're lovely, and I would be so happy to work with you guys on getting more students in the ECS from grade 12. So that is something I'm also very passionate about and want to continue with. So, but long enough.
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
Okay.
Watkins, you have to give a statement?
Thank you.
I come here tonight to pass a prayer. During my tenure here at UVic thus far, I have been despoiled of 180 Canadian dollars to this student union in specific, and more to the overarching organization, which is UVic Student Association. I believe that this role is poorly defined, unclear, and simply serves as a cudgel to appease administration that we're doing something about the undefined idea of equity, diversity, and inclusion. My intention is that we return to complete meritocracy in all things at UVic. I would make it so that the best people with the best grades, regardless of where they're from, regardless of any other identifiable characteristics, will get ahead. And I will make this student union affordable. My goal is to completely reduce the fees because nothing is fair and equitable about paying into what is essentially a shakedown for your funds each term that you don't get to decide anything about. If we believe in equity and inclusion, why are we forcing people to pay into this scheme? Why are we forcing people to be included? Forcing inclusion is almost too much inclusion, as if there could be such a thing as too much inclusion, which is why I want to just defund the whole thing, because we're not going to make any progress against UVic. We aren't. We're not going to make any progress on all these, 20 roles that we have in the ECSS. We are wasting our time. What people want is they want that extra $30 and they want to be free. So give us that $30 and leave us alone. That's what it would truly mean to be equitable. You don't take my money and then we're good. If you want to be part of this organization, that's fine. If you believe in different things, that's fine. But we have to look at the fact that students pay too much in general. They pay too much for everything. They pay too much for the UVSS. They pay too much for courses. Why, instead of talking about EDI and all these things that really don't mean anything, and the institution knows they don't mean anything, why don't we allow people to take their own action? Give them their own agency. Give them back their money. If you want to do something productive, make the fees lower. Decrease a real barrier for everyone. What is the most discriminated against color? It is green. People that do not have money do not get as far. It takes money to do everything. So stop charging people for something unless they want to be a part of it. If they want to be a part of it, fine, but I don't. Thank you.
Clarity, all students do have input on where our money goes. Every SGM, which happens every semester, we vote on our budget where students are allowed to put any input they want into the budget. So every student has opportunity to do so. So just want to get some clarity. All right, now we'll go to the question period. So could you please both go on stage? And yeah. So the first question will be answered by Lachlan and then Sophie, and yeah, we'll keep on going back and forth. All right, so we have a question right here.
I believe that the role of VP equity was to support marginalized groups accessing ECSS services and engineering services, as it was established a couple years ago. How would you go about in your position in this role to support marginalized groups such as women in STEM and other groups in STEM that are underrepresented in our current market?
Okay, so the idea of underrepresentation is an interesting question because UVic is 55% female. So I think if we need to do something about that, which I agree we do, we need to take a look at the whole thing holistically. I don't think anything's getting done. I don't think people feel included. And I don't think people necessarily want to be included in the fee. So generally speaking, the best thing I can do for you is just not restrict anything, you know, if you get the grades you get in, all these things, no discrimination. I agree, those things should be dealt with properly. But the easiest thing that can lower the bar for everyone right now to be in UVic, to be an engineering student, is lower the cost. Stop charging so much for this student union and in general. And if the student union wants to make it more equitable for everyone, they should go for that against the ECSS that is despoiling everyone of their funds. So take an approach to equity, diversity, and inclusion that would instantly do something. Give people the money to go buy food. Give people the money to get ahead.
Awesome, thank you. Now we'll give the floor to Sophie for a question. Question.
Yeah, and just to check, you were asking about, like support for marginalized groups.
I was more just asking about your general kind of, how would you support individuals who might be underrepresented in STEM? Less like, yeah, specifically marginalized, just people who are underrepresented, what would you do with your role?
Yeah, well, yeah, in terms of like the EDI committee, that is one way to establish that communication. But one specific example I know of is international students who want to be better represented. I heard about a little bit of talk about having like kind of their own committee. And so I kind of want to bring that kind of approach, but then also see like maybe not everybody wants to form committees, for example. But yeah, I want to provide an opportunity for them to really be visible in the eyes of the ECSS. And in terms of the spending, like I definitely understand the impact that these costs have on people. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe we have started making some progress on this because we heard about this over the summer. We started shifting conference costs, and as a result, like sending fewer people, making them like pay more to go. So this is something that's already in place, but obviously we can bring it up more. And as VP Equity, I would take that seriously and make sure that we push those changes. But it is important that we do put these supports in place and spend the ECSS money, because equity is about providing opportunities for people. It's not about taking opportunities away from people to bring them lower, and that's why conferences are important. So yeah, and also working with, I see there's WEX and West represented here today, and working with you guys, because you guys are doing some really cool things that are a lot of the time free for people to join in terms of groups. And like, how many of you are in clubs like right now, like engineering clubs? So from my experience in seismic, it's free to join. A lot of the clubs are free to join. There may be additional costs, but usually they try to cover those with sponsors. And I think like anybody who's been in a club knows that it's invaluable to your resume and to your career. So I want to continue with those, give people opportunities to join. Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome. Do you have any other questions for our VP candidates? Matthew?
Given council works of the team, how do you plan to work with the rest of council to achieve your goals?
All right, so we'll start with Sophie first.
Well, over the summer, I got to know the council, which has been really beneficial. And as secretary, I got to know what each council member does. So I feel like even with new council members coming in, I don't think there's gonna be any kind of hesitation there. Like, it's gonna be easy for me to get going and start bringing my ideas and feel really comfortable with that. And yeah, working as a team, we work as a team, we listen to each other, we have ways that we communicate during council meetings, and of course, I'm always going to be there to like promote equity, diversity, and inclusion. And yeah, see how we can better, just, it's an ongoing process, EDI, right? We always have to be aware of where we're at with that because it's always fluctuating. And so I want to really, bring it up if like we have struggles with that.
Welcome.
I think teamwork is important. Famously, Napoleon had over 30 Martians. But at some point, it is necessary to take control. If I make this position, I will immediately ensure that fees go down. Because there has never been anything more prohibitive than cost. I guarantee you want to talk about people that don't get into engineering. You want to talk about marginalized groups? Every single year, I guarantee there are many people that do not go to this great institution because of cost alone. I'm a great supporter of all the initiatives that people want to have, including WEX. I'm a great supporter of this. But we could do even more if we said, okay, you want to do this, you want to make your own future, you want to go as an international student, you want to go and seek opportunity. Okay, we won't burden you with so many fees. There are people right now that are sitting at home that did not get the opportunities we have simply because of student unions that have too many people working together on all these things, like the university. It'll take them a year to like, I don't know, remove an illegal impediment. If that was to happen, for example, it'll take them a year to like make a statement on the budget. These things are inefficient because we don't look at the cost and we don't look at where we can make impact right now. If I gave everyone $30 today, they could do something to improve their lives, okay? That's better than nebulous ideas about things we're gonna do and things we're gonna improve. Money in your pocket, be the captain of your ship, go make your life better. That's one barrier removed. That's my answer.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, the ECSS holds no political positions, so please refrain from making any remarks towards any political things. So yeah, just keep that in mind, please, when you're answering any questions. All right, do we have any other questions for, yeah? Oh, okay, sorry, I missed it, yeah.
Ignoring me, Joe.
Yeah, sorry.
No, so good. You guys used a couple terms, EDI and WES, and a few others I have forget. Do you mind defining all of those guys, like those terms for us, please, and just making sure we're all on the same page about what those mean?
Well, go first.
Okay, so like a literal definition?
Well, I mean, just like what the
the
acronyms
Is
mean.
that a question for us, or is that just a clarification?
Oh,
I think it's like equity, diversity, inclusion, and then women in engineering and computer science.
Yeah, I guess those are the main ones.
Yeah.
Like,
West and West are clubs, so women in engineering and computer science. West is women in science and technology. There's also WIS, which is women in science.
I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page about
Yeah.
what all those things
Yeah,
mean.
but EDI, that's the most important.
EDI is kind of nebulous though. That's a bit of the gripe that I have.
What is?
Okay.
Okay, sorry, please wait until you're asked to ask a question. Yeah. Okay, awesome, so okay, we're done with that. All right, any questions? Okay, yeah.
Was is, you guys are well versed with where the money is going from the ECSS. Yeah, if it's like a good cost where it's going, a good.
All right, so welcome, please.
Well, the short answer is hell no. The long answer is we spend like a ton of money to just like do random things that we probably shouldn't do. For example, like conferences, even if you do them differently, like it's still just gonna cost money to like send people to like talk about stuff. And like I've looked at some of these conferences, like a lot of them are about like diversity and engineering. And even these people like don't really know what they're talking about. Like they get a ton of money and then they don't do like tangible things. which has been my entire issue with the idea of like equity, diversity, and inclusion. When I just kind of looked at the numbers and I said, there are people that are excluded from all races, all genders, that are excluded just because we're making things too expensive. So like, I'm in support of all these clubs initiatives and, you know, letting everyone in to be the best engineer they can be. I'm just saying that like, you shouldn't have to pay into something that you don't agree with. Like a student society is essentially a club that gets free money from the university to do a bunch of stuff. So like, why don't we just stop charging people money and, you know, cut off the barbecue, cut off the pizza parties, cut off all these committees, cut off all the things we're doing, like sending people to conferences, and then just give the money back to the students. Like everyone talks about affordability all the time, but it's essentially lip service. It's lip service. If things are affordable, like why do these student unions keep making so much money? And like taking it in. So if we have a good engineering student society, it will be run on basically a shoestring budget, and it will just constantly go against UVic. And it will be opposed to what UVic wants, and it will be for what the students want. Because there's too much synergy, like we're obviously not respected, because like, you know, we don't get a lot of pull. Like if we want to do something, if we want to
Last time,
increase things, it just doesn't get
last
far.
time, okay, awesome. Just for some clarification, the student society does not actually make any money. All the money we make, like get from student fees, goes back into the students. Yeah, just wanted to clarify that for anyone that may be curious. And I'll give Sophie just a 2 minutes to answer the question as well, please.
Just to mention that.
If you need a refresher on the
Yes,
question.
please, actually. Yeah, so my question was, if you were well versed on how much like the ECSS is like putting in part for like events and everything, and if you agree with the. So. Yeah, I'm not gonna make any promises about being able to like reduce fees to a crazy amount, because I understand a bit about the intricacies of how this works. And this is why I think I can actually make a change in that. And I think overall, like considering the amount of money that we spend on the student fees compared to the value of like the clubs and the events and all that, which by the way, they help form communities. That's the first part, right? Like without ECSS events and stuff, I know not everybody takes advantage of them, but many people would say that they haven't been able to like make the same connections that way. For example, I needed to get involved in fun and things to get to know people. I ended up getting 2 really great mentors who are both here, and that's the reason why I'm actually here right now. I would have never gotten that confidence otherwise. But in terms of the spending, sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. The spending is put towards clubs and towards student events. And as Jobin said, they don't take the money for themselves. We also participate in a lot of important fundraisers, like the one for United Way, Bug Push that we did over the summer. That's also really important. And we need some spending in order to make that money to participate in fundraisers. And that is what it means to be part of the greater community. And also spending on conferences as well. That's how we get known by other universities, and that's how we make industry connections and even sponsors. So that's all very valuable, and having that background of how that fits into our budget is really important, because we can reduce spending, but we have to be really careful about the way we do it, because we cannot afford to let go of supports.
Awesome, thank you. All right, any other questions for Vice President Equities nominees? Monroe?
How do you feel about the democratic structure and constitution of the ECSS, in as much as allows equity in the student body and vote and have input both on the budget and every other aspect of our operations?
All right, so can you get answer first?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Can you repeat the question out louder?
How do you feel about the democratic nature of DCSS, and as much as allows the student body to have a say in the decision-making and operation of DCSS?
Awesome, thank you. All right, so good. Go ahead and answer the question.
I think it's such a great opportunity to be part of a student body that allows you to vote on things and get things implemented into your community. Like, if we didn't have the ECSS, we wouldn't really have like fun things. We wouldn't have those practical experiences. And as mentioned, like in the SGM, like all the budgeting, that's all very transparent. You know, there isn't anything hidden about that, and people get to bring their own motions. So I think it's really great that we do form this community on purpose to bring people together and see what we can do. And it's, you know, it's also brought around some pretty fun stuff as well. Like we have different things in the lounge, but sorry,
Sorry?
okay, it's about policies.
Yeah, I guess as it relates to increased equity and
Oh, okay.
inclusion.
I haven't read super deeply into the policies around that, but just by seeing like the description for VP equity, I can already see like that there's a foundation, but we still really need to work on it. So I would definitely like to clarify those things in the Constitution and make VP equity again, define it way better so we can actually get things going and have an actual like lifespan of this role. We can actually, because I'm not gonna be in this role just for one term. I want it to be for my term, but I want it to continue on. It's not about me doing my things in my term, it's about the life of the role. So yeah, I really want to work on the policies that will help that.
Awesome, thank you. Welcome, your turn to answer.
So generally speaking, when things are needlessly democratic, nothing gets anywhere. So you either have to go on one end of the spectrum where you have someone in charge with absolute power, or you have to give the power back to the people. So even if there's voting, right? Like there's no way in hell that we're ever gonna just like send a vote out to the students and be like, okay, if you want to pay 0 fees this year, just like click this box. Because the revenue would crash so hard, it would be epic. Like you would hear it from anywhere on campus. Boom, the revenue would be gone. So like if you want to do plebiscites, if you want to ask the people what they really want, put up the serious questions. Like don't ask them if they want to like take over computer science students. Like for real, ask them how much do you want to pay? And people are going to say like $0 to $5. I guarantee it. People that aren't here because they don't care are just upset that they keep having to pay into this. And from an equity perspective, the role is incredibly nebulous, as my fellow candidate said. And to me, that's not an indication that something needs to be done, like continuing the role. It's an indication that we just need to like cut our losses and see how we can reduce spending. All the industry connections I made were just by calling people in industry. I didn't spend any time in the conference to get the highest paid job in the history of Eng at UVic.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions for Vice President Equity? Yep.
So I guess when I think of equity, it's like, I guess giving people an opportunity who wouldn't have one otherwise. And I think that like paying like $30 a year or something for student fees, that ultimately would go toward things like, for example, having a career co-op fair here where people who otherwise could not attend because maybe they're working a late night job, maybe they're doing something to support a family member, and as a result, they don't have their own time to do this stuff. And by having these funds, it would allow people who could not attend here because they're not having to travel, they're not having to potentially head to a different city or do some sort of make a give up in order to do it. But I guess what I want to know from both of you is why are you choosing an equity position, and what previous experience do you have that you think makes you qualified to be in this position?
Welcome, I'll begin for.
Generally speaking, I'm a man of the people. What makes me qualified for this position is that I'm just like all of you. I'm someone paying fees. I've faced many barriers to get where I am, but I've made it to the top. It is why I think that it's important to give people a leg up. So things like co-op career fairs, okay, like every single semester, you're gonna get a bill for like $300. Like, I don't even know where this goes, okay? I had no idea where this goes. It goes somewhere into the co-op office, then it's gone. I called up company, got my own co-op, still had to pay. Honestly, like if you want to make it better for people that are working jobs late at night, the ECSS should say, we're gonna start with us first. We're gonna make fees $5. Then we're gonna go after UVic. $300 for co-op fees per term, too much, okay? UVSS, really, like $80 for a bus pass? I ride the bike, like, come on. Then all of these things, if we start first and say, we're going to be more fiscally responsible in small things, it's gonna snowball. The way you become incredibly wealthy is by making small changes, okay? Like, again, I've been here for like, what, 2 years? And I've spent like $180 just alone. Like, if you factor in interest and you could invest to that, you could buy, like the growth potential is enormous here. And that's just one person, okay? All of you have been taken for that much. So when you look at it collectively, that's a lot of economic activity. That's a lot of people that like go to the bar and have their own get-togethers with who they want to be around. So that's my view on equity.
Awesome, thank you all, Rockwood, and we'll be forward to Sophie. No.
I think part of being VP equity and defining this role is also helping people understand what it is and how it can benefit them. I'm not just signing up for VP equity because I think it's cool or whatever. I've done quite a bit of research on equity in STEM education specifically, and figuring out how opportunities can uplift people. And, sorry. Brain dead right now. But I don't think it's fair to compare the ECSS to the UPSS because none of the members are paid, and we don't have the same kind of mandatory costs like the bus pass that we have to deal with. But yeah, with equity, like that's the problem. The problem is that people don't understand what equity is because, you know, maybe they just haven't heard of it much because usually what we hear is about equality, right? And equality is the goal, of course, but equity is the tool that we use to reach it. So yeah, and so,
You good?
Yeah.
Oh, obviously. Awesome. Any other questions for our candidates? Yep.
Given that you guys are both looking forward to redefining the role of vice president of equity, could you guys go into a little bit of description of how you would redefine it to, you know, increase its basic value, increase what you can do with it?
well, for me, redefining the goal, even before like being here, it has started with like teaching our incoming directors of outreach, kind of what I did over the summer and what I think, like, I want to see what you guys are going to be doing with it. But yeah, redefining the role, the biggest thing is going to be working with the EDI committee, making that public again, because right now it's not open to like concerns from the students, and they're not doing workshops yet, but I know that they want to. And yeah, and really taking initiative to take action and to run events and do those kinds of things. I don't want to jump on first ideas. I want to take ideas and I want to like consider what needs to happen, but I do actually take action on that. And so I think taking action and having kind of like a history of like events and things that we do, that's going to help redefine the role. And just being an example to the rest of our, you know, ECS community about what we can do with EDI and with VP equity, because right now, maybe it feels like a very kind of an empty role in terms of what you see outside of it, but I definitely want to make it better known. So, you know, the community can actually benefit from that and learn from that, because none of us are perfect in terms of EDI. And so I want us to be able to have a community where we can learn about that and understand that we're not perfect at that and then we make mistakes. But yeah, I really want to get action in place, and that's what I really focus on. Also, like, yeah, I'm here to serve you guys. That's something I really believe in, public service. So yeah, anything I can do to make this an equitable environment, I would consider redefining the role.
Thank you. Over to the Rockwood.
So I would redefine the role along the traditional idea of equity, which is supposed to mean fairness. What I would say is that the role needs to be something more of like an anti-fraud type person, like someone that's gonna look out and see when something isn't right. So Uvic already has policies if like something egregiously racist was to happen. So I think we're wasting our time having like an EDI committee like within the ECSS. Like I think it's kind of lip service to mean that we don't have to do action on the actual things that are keeping marginalized people like out of engineering. And that just goes back to the cost again. So instead of trying to focus on how we can make things like inside an EDI lens, which is purposely nebulous, like no one actually knows what that means and they never will know what it means, because it's kind of supposed to mean good things that aren't racist, which I'm sure we all agree with, but you need to define it to do something useful. So something useful is inclusion. If you make it cheaper, more people can get in. Okay, so that's easy. Make the fees lower and go against people as a student society. Like if we still want to exist as the ECSS, go against the UVSS and say, why are you keeping people out of the university that are qualified by charging them like $80 a semester plus a bus pass? Like some costs may seem mundane, but at some point it just gets to be unreasonable. People that actually are bad people and don't want to see certain groups in certain places, such as engineering, they aren't going to say, we don't like X group, don't put them in. They're just going to make things expensive. They're just not going to do anything about opportunity. So instead of essentially giving a leg up to people that actually have reprehensible views, just let everyone in, make it cheaper.
Any other questions for Vice President Snow, equity? No?
I sometimes you have to be mindful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all the questions.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, for you.
Well, basically, like, we're not saying God, but how do you like, you just say this number, and next year something can come along and change it, right? Like, how do you find that make it? You know, permanent or just, you know, this.
Sorry, could you repeat the question louder? It's hard to hear.
It's kind of like making these, is there any plans to like make this something like, you know, next president, like, I guess, the day that just came, right? So it's not like, is there any reason to like bring it in or anything?
Yeah, and then just so you guys know, questions have to be to both candidates, not just like directly on one. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to make it to both candidates if they're both so impossible.
So. Yeah, that's, you have to make it to both candidates. If you have questions on later, you can always ask them on your own time. Yeah, no, oh, sorry, I got a question here first, yeah.
Sorry, are we allowed to ask questions to you for clarification?
Yeah, sure, me?
Yeah,
Sure.
does EP equity have anything to do with setting the fees or past the point that it's like a council agreed thing?
No, if we were to remove fees, that would be a referendum question,
Yeah.
which would need approval from all council members. And then that would be put out as a referendum question to all, the entire student body, and the student body would vote on whether they want fees eliminated or not. Yeah.
This is just the, did we have a referendum before, for like, the comp sci students to be in? Like,
Yes, we had a,
like, everyone got a vote on that?
Yeah.
Like, is an email sent out, and everyone has a vote on that?
Yes.
Click the box and say yes or no.
yes,
Okay.
also, yeah. Yeah. Also, any other questions for VP equity candidates? Yeah,
So if you were to hypothetically, this is for both of them, but if you were to hypothetically like defund completely, and then, I mean, people are, even if you don't have a mandatory quota, people are still gonna wanna get job access or job opportunities before they graduate. They're still gonna, you know, some people have cars versus some people like me take the bus, so I mean, $80 for 10 months in transit versus $60 a month, which is what everyone else pays. I mean, wouldn't hypothetically the costs for people who I guess who are poor go up because they'll have to go to other places to look for jobs. It's gonna eat into their schedule time, so they're gonna if they're needing to, I guess, fund for themselves, they're gonna have lots of time to do that. And then for people who I guess don't have a car, don't have a bike, or like for example, can't I guess, use those for, because they have a disability, and then they end up paying like $800 a year instead of 80. Isn't that hypothetically contradicting the idea of equity? Because it seems like the poor people are gonna ultimately have to pay more, and as a result, it's only gonna be rich people or people with a strong income attending post-secondary.
Okay, so basically, the question's been posited that if we slash fees in like general, things will be worse for the people that basically suck up most of the fee money. So I don't take it serious, I don't take it seriously, the idea that like the best deal we can get on bus passes requires like people that don't even need them to pay into them. I just don't believe that. I think that we still have enough people that want to take advantage of that deal, where we can get a deal if we actually put in more effort into negotiating, things like that. But that's a general thing that would have to be discussed with UVSS. And I think we could play a role in brokering that discussion. In specific for the ECSS, where we don't do bus passes, we don't do a lot of stuff with the career, like the co-op office, right? I think that most of those things are outside the purview of the ECSS in specific. And I think that if we put pressure on other areas to make things cheaper, they would be able to do them more efficiently. I don't think things are being done efficiently because everyone is just agreeing to lay down and pay the fee. So just because we make things cheaper doesn't mean that people are going to lose out. I just don't agree with that fundamental concept. Let's actually negotiate instead of just blindly kicking up all this cash. I think generally speaking, that would be the best way to go.
But if you, I have all of them, if you have a.
Sorry, you can't have follow-ups.
Yeah, but you didn't ask my question.
You can't.
Okay, so, yeah, you can like, you can like you can restate your question, but you can't have a follow-up.
Okay, well, I guess I'll rephrase it. Wouldn't paying, I guess, like, for example, if you don't have the student fee and you have a club, and then everyone has to pay to join a club versus you have a student fee and everyone can join for I guess, with the student fee covering it. How does that, I guess, play out?
You have to do like everyone does in the real world, in the household with sponsorships, you have to make things cheaper, you have to pay for some of the activities you want to be in. I think generally speaking, it's far more unjust to just be like, okay, everyone is going to get screwed, so that like maybe one person is going to get a cheaper take on a club. The idea I'm looking for is how can we make it cheaper for everyone en masse? And I think that if we start being fiscally responsible, we can actually get costs down because instead of clubs just like sitting there and getting free money from, various student societies, and instead of the co-op office just being, always given this flow of cash, they'll be forced to say, oh, we actually have to provide like good services for what we're being given, because now people can actually vote with their feet. They can say, I don't want to pay into this scheme. Generally speaking, everywhere in the world where people have had the opportunity to say, I don't want to be a part of this, it's not good value, things get cheaper for people. It basically, like, the idea of communism doesn't work, is what I'm saying. So let people make their own decisions, force UVic, the UVSS, and the ECSS to be more efficient, and then things will get better for even the poorest people.
And Sophie?
Well, yeah, in terms of the cost, again, the cost of the ECSS, I would say, is much less than paying for clubs individually. But also comparing it to UVSS, again, it's completely different because we do not have jurisdiction, I believe, over the UVSS fees. We cannot force them to do anything like that. But, we still pay less than they do. But the reason why we're at this university is because it gives us that community, it gives us those connections. Specifically why I chose UVic is because of the co-op program. We have a very well-known co-op program. Employers know that. And so we have to pay fees, that is true. But that gives us resources unlike a lot of other schools. And so we need that in order to get start to our careers. And, it's just unfortunately fact. Being a university, it is a business, that is true. But in terms of our own student societies, we can make our own changes about how much we spend in those student societies to support people because we can make those decisions ourselves. So I don't know if I sort of answered your question, but yeah.
All right, we have room for one more question. So, yeah.
Have any of you ever been in any clubs or any like leadership roles prior to this?
All right, so for
Well, I have been heavily involved in clubs. Every semester I've been in around 6 different clubs and advocacy groups. And it's been really beneficial. Through Seismic, like it's given me hands-on experience that is giving me literal co-op interviews right now. And like doing like the Women in STEM program, that is giving me mentors. And doing the other programs, well, being a part of the ECSS as well, that is a leadership opportunity for me. And I know like I can say myself that I have gained so much confidence in the past 12 months. And it is so nice to have a community where you can find people and learn new things and try new things that you never thought you could. And so that's why I think it's so special that we have like our own ECS, we have our own ECSS student group, because we need, you know, the faculty cannot speak for us, so we need to speak for ourselves.
awesome, thank you, Lachlan.
As to leadership experience, when I was in high school, I was an advisor to the Minister of Education in Alberta. And before that, in grade 9, I was an advisor to the mayor of Calgary, which is a city of about 1.3 million people. It's not quite there yet. So generally speaking, my leadership experience is tip-top. When it comes to community building, I want people to be invested in their communities. So I have been in clubs, and generally what I found was that clubs weren't getting to the heights that I wanted to go, literally in some cases. So what I propose people do is they work on ventures that are going to go somewhere in industry, which is what I've been doing since I became disillusioned with clubs. I have gotten great job offers because people saw that I did something, I made something work, I made something profitable, just with my own brain, my hands, and like 20 bucks to put in as startup capital. Those are way more confidence building than just a club. So I suggest that we look and try to bootstrap in some sense. Instead of making things very regulated and having all these defined clubs, we can still have clubs, but let's make them cheaper, and let's make a focus on entrepreneurship. Let's make a focus on people starting their own things. Go into a job interview and say, I built this rocket and I sold it for X amount of dollars, is way better than saying, yeah, I just got all this free money from various student societies, and then I built this rocket and it went up and it was good. I think we're setting the bar too low as engineering students. I think people need to be entrepreneurial, and they need to do something that's going to actually stick out. That's what gets you the job. Initiative. Everybody's been in XYZ club. It doesn't set you out, okay? There are like millions of these clubs. You could just lie at some point, and really they wouldn't know, because everyone is ostensibly a member after they, go and chill in the room a couple times, maybe launch a rocket. The point is that developing true experience takes more initiative than that. And I really don't think we have to pay into clubs for that. I think people need to forge their own way. And to start that, I would go with fiscal responsibility. So yes, I probably have more leadership experience than Kevin Hall himself.
All right, let's start, thank you. And yeah, I'd just like to clarify, like, for most students, the clubs are a very rewarding experience. You get to learn lots, you get a lot of hands-on experience, and they're not a city money, so I just want to clarify that to everyone here. Just, yeah, thank you. And that's it for our VP equity questions. Thank you for answering them, and thank you for all the questions. So please take a seat, and we'll call our first year rep nominees to the floor. All right, so we have 3 people. Okay, so we'll do your number first. You'll go second, and we'll do your number. Okay, you'll go third, and then you'll go first then. Yeah, so, yeah, you go first. Please make a 3-minute statement. Everyone, please take a seat. Please be silent. Everyone silence, please. We still have other candidates and stuff, so please keep any discussion outside or be silent, please. Or also, so yeah, you can start with your speech.
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's having a fabulous night. My name is Kathy, and I'm the first year. I am in my first year of engineering, and I'm a big and passionate advocate for diversity and inclusion in engineering. I'm running in first year rep because I want to make your first year of university memorable. Whether it's battling with 6 courses, dealing with physics 110 and 120, or running across campus in the first year because you don't know where all these classes are, you'll all be memorable. That's why you should all for me the first year rep, and I have many ideas on how to improve your experience or run amazing events to make the first year at UVic designating a student memorable. I plan to run many fun events such as movie nights, advanced study groups for those who are scared. It can be really hard to make study groups for many students. So having a dedicated time that ECSS runs as a first year study group is an amazing way for students to get to know each other and study and get ready for their courses to have to feel ready and confident in all their learning. I hope to also run design challenges. So sadly this year, our first year students at orientation didn't get a design challenge or anything. So we want people to work connect and foster your community and challenge their creativity through many fun design challenges such as the Getty Bridge 2.0. Lastly, I hope to run many networking events, fostering connections between first year students and upper year students so they can figure out what type of engineering discipline or a specialization they would like to do, and foster connections with industry professionals to help make finding co-ops and job opportunities after graduation easier. Overall, my name is Kathy, and I'm running for first year rep because I'm always looking for suggestions. I have great ideas on how to improve your first year of engineering and how to make it better. Thank you.
Then over the floor to Jay. Well, you have a few minutes now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jay. And before I kind of begin, could I get a raise of hands? Who here is first year? Great, nobody. But you can still listen to what I say. I'm running for first year representative because I love computer science. I love engineering. I love everything about how problem solving skills, challenging yourself, and creating new things. And that's one of the reasons why I'm running as first representative, because I want to kind of show my passion to everyone and who everyone who is interested in this field. And yeah, so I know as a first year myself, I know how hard it is to make friends. I've literally gone to every class, asked someone like someone who sat next to you, and then forgot it the next day. Never spoke to them again. So I want to have events where people collaborate, people get to know each other, people bond over what they're both good at, and kind of stay friends for the next coming years. Some of the events that I want to try to plan is hackathons, engineering challenges, workshops for declaring your specialization in the second year, everything. I know as a computer science, I probably won't know much about biomedical engineering or civil engineering, but I'll try to do my best, get everyone's suggestions on what type of events they want, and I want to make it. Thank you.
Candidates, please give your 3-minute statement.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abdullah, and I am a first year software engineering student here at UVic. So let me tell you a bit about myself. I was born in Pakistan and I moved here 11 years ago and I live in Langford. So I commute here every single day. So if you want to complain about your commuting, then I got some things to tell you. So before we dive into our speech, let me just ask you guys a question. What do you guys think other majors say about us engineering and computer science majors? Engineers are boring. All they do is work. They don't do fun stuff. But I'm here to change these stereotypes for everybody. And I'm here to show that computer science and engineers are the most exciting major here on campus. First off, as the first year representative, I'll host the best events, barbecues, out trips like hiking trips, exploring the city, tech theme parties, trivia nights. And as part of this role, I want to hear from all of you guys and listen to your voice and represent that voice. And for those people who think I'm crazy and only join ECSS to actually learn tangible skills and get co-ops, well, I got something for you as well. My goal is for first years to gain tangible experience for their co-ops. So I'm planning on doing small hackathons. So these aren't going to be like big hackathons like WEX or Battlesnake, but they'll be very small hackathons, maybe 10 to 20 people. And the reason I feel like these smaller hackathons will benefit first year students is because there's not 200 people and you won't be at the back of the crowd. You can say, for example, I got third place on this hackathon when only like 5 people showed up. I want to do workshops for building crucial skills as well as organizing network events to meet with professionals so you can get that level up against all the third and fourth years applying for co-op. So why should you vote for me? I've made all these promises, but who knows if I'm gonna actually do them or not. So let me give you a background about myself. At high school, I was an ambassador. So basically in that role, I gave tours, I represented the voice of the international students, and I organized events. Events like Pumpkin Carving Fest, Chinese New Year celebrations, Culture Fest, building gingerbread houses. And I believe that with all these experiences and the enthusiasm that I have, I feel like I'll be the best choice for this role. So I thank you everyone for giving me this platform. I hope you vote for me, and if not, never talk to me again. I'm just kidding.
Well, in the question period, seeing as this is a first year voted only position, I'll only limit questions to from first year students. So any first year questions for our first year reps? Are you the first year?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So all three of you on stage. So Jay, you will go first, and Abdullah, and then Matthew. All right, so please ask your questions.
All you guys, there seems to be a lot of like hackathons and lots of coding competitions and science stuff, more like software engineering majors. I only see any for civil engineering, mechanical, and electrical workshops or more detailed to help them in their, major. So then what would you guys implement for other types of majors for the engineer?
Like I kind of said in my speech, I'm not with, I'm very interested in engineering. I've had like some exposure to electrical, mechanical, and civil. And I love electrical and mechanical, so I know what type of events to help them. But I don't know much about civil or biomed engineering or any other type of engineering. For that, I want to create like a suggestion forum, get some event suggestions from civil engineers and other sorts of engineers, because I myself don't know as much as they personally do about their own major. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. All right, then Abdullah.
Okay, so I'll be 100% honest. I know nothing about civil or the other engineering you're talking about. I forgot already. But if I do get elected as part of the support system around me, like the council, other clubs like Seismic Club, or all these different clubs, I'll definitely reach out and see their experiences on how they did events in the past and try to implement them for our first year. That's the answer.
Awesome, thank you. Kathy?
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, there's lots of workshop stuff for coding competitions, hackathons, design, like workshops, well, not many for bioengineering, mechanical, transferable, or electrical, like any tailored to them. Tell me what you guys know about that.
Yeah, I definitely relate to like experience and stuff. I'm actually not like planning to like pursue like software, and I know there's like a lot of hackathons and stuff, but nothing tailored to engineering students. However, I know many first-year engineering students don't have much experience in them, so I would focus on running like workshop and events, like maybe one day or like multiple like group events for first-year students. Partnering with like different like clubs and organizations or like even industry companies if we can, to help like teach a specific skill. For example, like maybe for civil engineering, you could run like a water treatment workshop, like, and focus on like one specific skill, so first year students can like learn more about a specific discipline, like civil engineering, and they can like build on a skill and potentially like create a project that they can use in their programs. I hope that answers your questions.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions from any other first years in the room? All right, seeing none, thank you first year rep nominees for your answering your questions. And finally, we do have one VPI nominee that showed up. I'll give you 3 minutes to just give you a little speech, but we will not be taking any questions for you as the debate period is already over. So please take a few minutes to just give you a little speech.
Yeah.
And after our last candidate gets their little speech, debate is over. Feel free to grab some pizza, and yeah, thank you all for coming.
Yeah, this isn't part of my speech. I just want to apologize because I thought that this debate started at 7, not at 6. I have no idea. Anyway, so good evening, everybody. My name is Austin Novak. I'm a second-year undeclared engineering student. I'm from Quesnel, BC, and I plan on specializing in computer engineering. Specifically about engineering, I am really interested in more of the managerial project management side of engineering other than technical, which is why I'm running for VPI. I'm running for VPI specifically to improve my skills of managerial work and public speaking. So, and I'm also running to make new connections with people and UVic faculty, right? So I'm aware that this position requires a certain type of person. You need somebody who's not afraid to speak in front of others. You need someone who can stand in front of opposition and still be confident, because the concerns of students will go against what UVic faculty members have already put in place. And opposition like that can be difficult to stand your ground in. You need someone who's confident in their ability to speak their mind even in opposition. You also need someone who's a people pleaser, who's able to take the concerns of students and make it their top priority. And you also need someone reliable, who sticks to the schedule and ensures that all meetings are attended to and not missed, and no concerns are being left unheard. I believe that this person is me. Now, specifically to the students and the undergrad ECS body, I promise you that I will make sure that you were heard. I know what it feels like to have a very unfair professor. If you want change, I will make sure that the people who can make that change know. Also, I promise that this job will be done right. I have reached out to other VP members and the former VPI trying to find as much information about this job as possible. I know the responsibilities and the importance of this role, and I want to make sure that it gets done right. And finally, I want to talk specifically to the discipline representatives. You guys are my bridge between the voice of the students and myself. And so I believe it's very important for me to talk, to specifically tell you guys what I bring to the table. I will strive to be both approachable and attentive. I believe that the best way to communicate is to make sure that everybody is comfortable with each other, so no one is ever afraid or unwilling to speak any concerns that they may have. I will also be very flexible and reliable. I will do my best to make sure that meetings work for everyone's schedule. And I will always be committed to agreed upon times. I look forward to working with the discipline representatives as a future EPI. And I thank you all for listening.
That's it for the debate. Yeah, voting opens tonight at midnight. Please look at everyone's platforms. Taking what you can learn today at the debate and vote wisely. Yeah, so everyone feel free to have some good stuff. Yeah.
On what platform or something?
Sorry?
Voting will happen on what?
It'll be a web vote, it'll be online, and it'll be sent to you.
Oh, you just.
Yeah, it'll be sent to you, so.
That I think I missed my platform.
Sorry, I can't add it.
That's too bad to change it.
Yeah.